The song of the Dinka takes a season to write and can last as long as he has the energy to sing it. The song is a way of spreading news in a land where few have radios and electricity is still a dream. This year the Dinkas are singing a lament. It tells of man-made conflict and natural disasters. It's a song about the dry season just past, when the farmers had to eat their seed grain, and of the rainy season ahead, when the only crop will be hunger. The southern Sudanese are among the hardiest people in the world, and the Dinka are the dominant tribe, forming the leadership and bulk of the SPLA, or the Sudanese People's Liberation Army. In January this year, the SPLA scored a series of military successes, overrunning 3 government garrison towns in the south. Fearing military defeat, the government of Sudan has turned to its ultimate weapon, starvation. In February, it banned the aid flights that have been the only lifeline to the south, which because of the war and the drought is rapidly moving towards famine.
If we don't secure the situation right now, it's going to become worse. So what we need to do is try and get as much supplementary feeding to these children so that it doesn't worsen the situation.
The growing hunger in Sudan presented the UN and aid bodies with a critical decision: how to get food into the south in time to stop mass starvation. The solution? The most ambitious road convoy ever to go into southern Sudan. A logistical nightmare. As the food piled up in Uganda, precious days were lost securing the trucks for the convoy. One group of trucks was 2 weeks overdue, lost somewhere in bandit-infested northern Uganda. For World Vision Logistic Officer Killen Otieno, this was just the beginning of his problems.
I've tried to get in contact with the other transporter, but when I inspected these trucks, I realized that they're not in good condition for the kind of work that they are meant for.
To make matters worse, and with the rainy season a full month away, a fierce storm suddenly comes lashing in from the south. If the rain stayed, the roads would quickly become impassable.
The trucks that were supposed to be ready were in fact totally unable to travel into the countryside. They were virtually held together by rubbers, so that contract has been cancelled and we're now looking for more trucks. But in the meantime, as you can see, the rains have continued and you only have to step out that door to get hit by lightning. There it goes, there goes the lights.
The next day, the rains have stopped, giving the roads a chance to dry, but that was the only good news for Killen Otieno.
I copy, that is no.
Overnight, the remaining trucking companies at Koboko had decided to gang together and jack up their fees by nearly 50%.
So I hear that you're agreeing to 56. No, I'm not. I don't think we're going to. Okay. I think we're going to let them all get stuck in the rain. That's what I think we're going to do, because we've done it before. That's what we did before. We hung out for a few months. They all got stuck in the mud, and we had to go and pull them out. Then we'll charge recovery. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what we're going to do. I have to go back to them, talk about it, and then we'll see. We all have to agree, yeah? We'll follow suit, over. Well, yeah, I don't know what to do now, really. You know, I mean, you know, if we don't go for it, then I think we're going to lose a lot of work. They're sending up a lot of trucks from Nairobi. It's going to be 56 flat rate. We've accepted it. So that'll be truck oil, Watambesi, and assist. Okay. Assist have accepted it. I'm accepting it. Okay. Flat rate for everywhere.
In the end, the truckers had to back down. But with thousands of lives in the balance, yet another day had been lost. Finally, the missing trucks from Kenya arrive, and anxious to beat the rains, roll straight through to Sudan. A journey that should have taken 4 days had been stretched to over 2 weeks. With the first part of the convoy already rolling, and the second part delayed by loading, I set off in my own vehicle to catch up with the first convoy in Sudan. No sooner had we crossed the border than it began to rain again, and that was not the only sign of trouble ahead. We've made only 20 kilometres when the vehicle is brought to a halt by SPLA sweepers clearing mines. The road, an important lifeline out of the south, has been extensively mined by both sides. As we approached Yei, we came upon a row of skulls scattered over a kilometre. All that remains of an entire government garrison ambushed as they retreated from the town last April. When we arrived at Yei, we found the hospital was filled with wounded civilians. These people are the innocent victims of the Sudanese government's vengeance for its military setbacks. This is Yei, about 40 miles inside Sudan. It's a popular spot for Sudanese government bombers to hit. Yesterday they got lucky. At 10 a.m. they managed to put 4 bombs onto this hospital. The final bomb went into the bunker behind me, hitting 40 people. 2 children and 5 adults died outright, while scores more were horrifically mutilated. The hospital is the largest in the region, but now, because it has been deliberately targeted, patients are afraid to come near it.
So from the incident of last month, we knew the accuracy was coming to the hospital. And actually, this is what happened precisely. Now the hospital was the target. And we think maybe it is being deliberately targeted by the government of Sudan.
Leaving Yei, we pass mile after mile of teak plantations. The war in southern Sudan is as much about the ownership of this precious timber and the vast reserves of untapped oil as it is about race and religion. When at last we catch up to the front of the convoy, it is at an SPLA checkpoint, manned by soldiers released from the fighting, looking for transport. What is that?
This is my departure order.
Oh, yeah. The soldiers are desperate, but aid agencies are forbidden to carry armed combatants. The soldiers refuse to let us or the trucks through without giving them a lift.
You come here, this way.
Okay. After 2 hours, we decide to drive around the checkpoint, passing over a bridge which threatens to collapse. That's about to give way. That really is about to give way. Well done. World's best driver. The next 600 kilometres provided an insight into the terrible beauty of southern Sudan. War, blockade, sheer isolation, compounded by 2 years of drought, the result of El Niño, have left a withered landscape. Three days of hard travel has covered only 900 kilometres when we finally arrive at the World Vision base at Nabokok. Camp Administrator Peter Montagna explains the essential survival facilities.
As you can see, down here is a trench. We are in a war zone. Sometimes there are bombs thrown all over the place. A couple of weeks ago, there were some thrown on the other town, and some 16 people died on the spot. Another 20 or so were hospitalized. So we have to deal with this situation by having trenches that people can run in and lie flat. so that the bombs can just fly on their heads, but they can still have their lives.
You can see outside there waiting. Outside there.
40 kilometres away in the market town of Tiet, they are still cleaning up after the last raid. 17 civilians were killed, their houses destroyed, while scores more were wounded. A neighbour recalls the surprise attack.
Two people here in this house, and one died on his way to Marial. Small child is buried there. 2 people in another house, 7 people in that house, and 2 people in the neighbor house there.
For some of those townspeople who survived the bombings, the delays in the food convoy have proved to be fatal.
This woman has died in starvation because she is not able to run away. So she remained here. When she remained here and there is no food, so she died.
And there's another one that's died this morning?
Yeah, there is another one there behind this market.
Clearly, the first priority is to distribute food from the convoy.
We have a total of wheat flour 296 parts. Tell them.
News of the distribution spreads quickly. By mid-morning, large crowds of desperate people have already gathered. As the temperature soars into the mid-40s, tempers flare. More police arrive and the distribution continues peacefully. When the food from 2 trucks is finally divided, there is only enough to last each family 1 week. The food in the remaining trucks must reach the more than 130,000 people in the immediate area. Suddenly, the Sudanese government opens 4 airfields out of the 50 in the region. Aid agencies are given only 3 days in which to stockpile food aid. The apparent humane gesture by the Sudanese government is not all that it seems. The sporadic aid flights to the limited locations act like a magnet to the starving population, already weak with hunger. Many will not survive the long walks to the feeding centres. At Pakor, one of the airfields just opened, the feeding centre is overrun by children nearly half dead with hunger. These pictures prove that famine is already a reality in parts of southern Sudan. The children in this Médecins Sans Frontières camp will live, but only so long as the Sudanese government allows the flights to continue.
Last night the rains came, which means that trucks full of refugees, trucks carrying food, any vehicle at all is just bogged down and not moving. This means that the hungry season has really begun.
As the last truck in the convoy struggles into Tiet, it is clear that from now on, any food coming into southern Sudan will have to arrive by air. Refugees from hunger in Tiet take advantage of a break in the rain to commandeer a truck to take them south. They will try to wait out the hungry season with their Dinka relatives, who may still have some food left. Tragically, this only expands the famine.
You are there to receive them. Not even, you cannot say, I didn't budget it for your coming. It is not in our culture. Culturally, you receive them. If you were to have food for your family for maybe 3 months, that food is going to be consumed only for 2 or 1 week.
because of the newcomers coming in. And then after 1 week, they started starving together.
The looming rainy season means that food aid will be impossible to transport. There will be no more convoys. Until the world notices the tragedy unfolding in Sudan and forces the government to allow in more food, there will be nothing left for the Dinka but their mournful lament.